Hello you guys, and welcome to another episode of Ask James. It is my pleasure to be here with you guys, and we got a lot, so we're just going to jump right on in and get through these letters. I'm not going to hold you up because you know it's lunchtime for a lot of folks. So let's get to it. First letter, it doesn't have a title, but it goes a little bit like this. Let's go. Hi James. I'm writing to see if you can help me figure out if I'm putting 20 on 10 on the situation with my sister-in-law. I've been married to my husband for 27 years. We have been together 30. Before my husband met me, he dated a lady for 5 years who cheated on him with and eventually married his cousin. Side note, my husband and his cousin were best friends and inseparable before this happened. So she has been in and around the family longer than I have. Now, the cousin and his now wife rarely come around for a little bad time due to the fact that they were ashamed of what they did. Proofread, because Now the cousin and his wife rarely come around due to the fact that they are ashamed of what they did. Proofread. My husband truly forgave his cousin, and over recent years, they have started to talk more and play dominoes, socialize more. After a recent party we all attended, it appears that my sister-in-law and the ex-girlfriend cousin are best friends all of a sudden. I find it strange that all of a sudden they are so close after all these years. Every Facebook post is about them and what they are doing. I guess I should give you a little background on my sister-in-law. She is messy. She is the type that looks at you and what you have and tries to outdo you. If she can't outdo you, she tries to mess things up for you with a bunch of negativity. Ooh, sounds like a treat. Let me say, I'm not jealous or anything. Also, let me add, she can be friends with whoever she pleases. And I like the ex-cousin. We get along good. That's not a problem. What I wonder is, what could the sister-in-law be up to? I'm just trying to understand what she thinks she will accomplish with all of this. Maybe it's a genuine friendship. I don't know. What do you think? Sorry it's long. Love you. Be blessed. Okay. I wouldn't so much say that you're putting 20 on 10, but the whole thing is you don't trust your sister-in-law. You don't trust your sister-in-law. From what you're saying, I probably wouldn't either. But I think you're giving this too much energy. I think you're giving it too much energy. It is what it is. You're not jealous of the friendship they have. The friendship they have has nothing to do with you. And until they do something, if they actually are up to something, you kind of have no way to go with it but to let it happen. You got to go ahead and let it happen, whatever it is. And if they step out of line, the thing is how far out of line you let them step, because you're already on it. You're already skeptical of them, so you just keep watching. Watch them very closely, but don't throw yourself out there and end up looking foolish. Because again, I think you're giving it too much energy. And I'm not saying that they're not up to something. They may be, because they sound messy as hell. So they may very well be up to something, but you putting too much on it. Not 20 on 10, but too much. You're putting too much of your time into it. Let it roll. Let it be what it be. If they got something for you, they gonna come for you. But the thing is, just be ready for them. Be ready for them. So don't, they can't sneak up on you because you're already watching. You're watching the back door so they can't sneak in. That's all I'm gonna say. Just watch them. Watch them. But be unbothered. Be unbothered, but watch them. They sound like they need watching. All right, baby, thank you for writing in. Okay, This next letter is actually called Bridal Blues. All right, and it goes like this. It says, "Hey, Uncle James, sending love from your niece in Pittsburgh you didn't know you had." Cool, no problem. I need some advice. I'm getting married in August, and the planning process has been a roller coaster. From the beginning, I put my wedding in my mom's hands. She has a really good eye for decor and details. Plus, I am her one and only, so I know she will put her all into it. The struggling point of all of this is the cost. My mom's idea was that both mine and my fiance's parents, with help from my grandparents, would take care of the wedding and reception costs, and my fiance and I can have our money from our guests to start saving for a down payment for our home without the debt of the wedding. My mom, coordinator, searched, booked, and placed deposits on the church, the hall, the caterer, the linen company, etc. In between time, my mom has been asking my future in-laws for a budget and a number of guests to try to wrap her head around what she's working with to make all this happen. I kind of see where this is going already. They didn't want to throw out a figure, but ended up with a guest list of over 100 people. Prior to this, I spoke to my mom and I told her that my in-laws aren't very big on spending money. Not sure if they're in the position to do so or not. I find that they go more for the potluck BYOB style wedding, and that just isn't the vision I have for my wedding. Some family members just aren't dependable. My mom would have ate the cost of my fiance's family, but their guest list keeps growing. So my mom proceeded with the planning and decided that she would just ask them to pay for the food for their guests. My future mother-in-law gagged at the catering estimate, which is about $35 per person, buffet style. Is that a lot to you? No. Anyway, mind you, she has the most guests. My family is taking care of everything else, from the decorations all the way down to the liquor. All the in-laws have to do is handle our limo and feed their guests. So now it's a battle of the mothers. My mom is frustrated because when she reaches out to my fiance's mom about the wedding and costs, his mother just calls him instead of returning my mom's call, making him and I the middleman. His mom is in the background having conversations about costs and the whole wedding. Again, her only concern should be her portion of the catering costs. Meanwhile, still adding more people to the guest list. And instead of coming to the table saying they just can't manage that, work on or more doable costs and or decrease the number of guests, days and days are going by like we aren't less than 2 months away from the wedding and they haven't given a dime. I know people have their ideas of what tradition is as far as the bride's family tradition versus the groom's family's contribution. Not tradition, contribution. Versus the groom's family's contribution. But we expected they pitch in somewhere. I find myself apologizing for my mom because she's so ecstatic that I'm getting married and it's important to her that I have my perfect day. And hey, she's in a position to make that happen. So yeah, she's a little extra. But I'm also defending the in-laws because I know everyone doesn't have the ability to throw money at these things or think it's necessarily worth the cost in the long run. It's stressing me out because I just want peace. I hate talking money, and now my mom is in my ear talking shit on my future mother-in-law. I feel like this is setting an uncomfortable vibe for this wedding and future family events. Any words of advice for this stressed out bride to be? Signed, I should have eloped. Listen. The first part of this, where things went wrong, is that everybody should have sat down all in one room together, and it should have all been talked about, flat out. When the costs went down and all that, and everything like that. Your mom started planning. She started planning what she had in her head. And she was spending, it's kind of like she was spending their money the way she wanted to spend their money. Okay? Which is kind of rough. It's kind of rough because, again, they have different views. You've come to that, but that came in later. That they had different views about what the wedding is supposed to be like. The thing is, though, once it starts spiraling like that, I think your mother said, she got a hold of what it really was, and your mother basically pulled your mother-in-law's hoe card. That's what she did. She said, okay, calm down. This is what it is. Because, see, you ain't gave no input. You didn't give no money, so you didn't really get to give input, which is fair. Because you didn't stop and say, okay, this is what I want, 50%, I'll pay 50%. You didn't do that. So, okay, this is what it is, and you can keep on inviting as many people as you want, but this is what it's going to cost. And from what it sounds like, you weeks out, and your mother-in-law ain't gave up no money. Your mother done peeped her hoe card, okay? Your mother-in-law sees that she's playing games, and your mother sees it. Your mother sees it, because ain't no way she ain't gave up no money. A month or a couple months before the wedding, and she ain't gave up no money, and you steadily inviting people? Yeah, your mother took charge, but your mother has taken and she's paid the cost to be the boss. At this point, your mother's throwing the wedding. Your mother, you, and your fiance. Your mother-in-law and your in-laws ain't did nothing. Until you put some money on the table, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just don't see where you need to stick up for your mother. I mean, right in the beginning, your mother took charge. I'll get her for that. I'll smack her on her wrist for that because she did. She took charge. But from the way it all played out, she paid the cost to be the boss. And right now, it looks like she's paying for the wedding. But she's better than me because, baby, I cut that little guest list completely down. I would cut that guest list. And I wouldn't care who didn't like it. I would cut it. I would cut it. You don't pay, you ain't bringing the whole neighborhood up in here. Not for me to pay. And $35 a plate, no, that's not exorbitant. Not at all. But I mean, if you're talking to a person that, like you said, potluck, that's a child. I don't even know how y'all got this far without fighting yet. I don't know how y'all got this far without fighting. And I just think she's playing games. I think that your mother-in-law is playing games, and I think your mom has peeped her hoe card, and she knows that she just going to do what she's going to do, and she's going to let your mama pay for it. That's all. That's what I see. That's what I say. She's like, fine, she planned it, let her pay for it. But all the time, keep on adding people. She out of order. Your mother-in-law's out of order. Sorry. She's playing games. She's playing games, and your mother knows it. Your mother knows it, but your mother ain't trying to ruin your wedding. But your mother knows it. And your mother's better than me because you probably wouldn't even be having no wedding. Not on me. You wouldn't even be having a wedding. I tell you, listen, this is what you can do. You can go get married, and I'll throw you a party over here with us. And I don't know what your in-laws is going to do. You can come or don't. That's where I would go. Yeah, no. But that's what I see. I don't. Y'all, my advice is that y'all all get in the room immediately, like yesterday. And okay, we need some money on the table, or we need to figure out the guest list today before we walk out the room. And that needs to happen like yesterday. Because other than that, your mother's getting ready to pay for this whole wedding, and your mother-in-law is going to sit back and grin and skip. Girl, I don't want to say nothing bad about your mother-in-law. I'm going to leave it alone. But I do live in Pittsburgh, and I know how things go around here. Your mother-in-law's playing games, and your mother done peeped her hoe card. That's all that's to it. I'm done. I'm done with it. And it is what it is, and your mother need to put a stop to it right now. Right now. Y'all all need to get into a room. Everybody. Everybody. And money needs to be put on the table. I don't need no IOUs. You don't owe me shit. Money. 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 That's what needs to be talked about right now. Money. And not no IOUs. Period. Good luck with this, baby. Good luck. But cash on sight will keep down a fight. You understand? Go tell your mother to tell your mother-in-law that. That's it. That's the one line. Cash on sight will keep down a fight. She can send it to her in a text. All right, baby. Good luck. I'm done with this. Oh, my goodness. Alrighty, let's go on to this next letter. It has no title, and it's short. And it goes like this. Okay, looks like this is going to be to the point. Wrote before. The problem is, my common law husband, all we do is fight. All day, every day. He constantly talks over me, cuts me off, treats me like I'm stupid. It's nonstop fights over literally every little thing. I'm over it. Communication, how? He refuses to listen to anything I say. Please help. I'm about to go to a nursing home to get away from this. I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything possible, and it always ends up being this hostile environment. I'm at my wit's end. Okay, so you wrote in before. I know who you are. But this is easy. This is easy. Because you don't need me to tell you what you already know I'm gonna say. He's your common law husband. Which means y'all ain't walked down no aisle nowhere. Y'all just basically been together so long that y'all live in a Commonwealth state, undoubtedly. And so leaving would be just as complicated as if you were in a marriage. But from what you're saying, it is what it is. Do you want to be this miserable? Because I can't imagine. I wouldn't care if I never signed papers or if I did sign papers. I'm not, when you wrote, I'm about to go to a nursing home to get away from this, that's pretty bad. Because if you're telling me that things at home are so bad that you would prefer to be in a nursing home, then you don't need me to tell you what you need to do. You said it. I'm at my wit's end. So what does that entail? Leaving, right? Sometimes you outgrow people, and it's okay. It don't make you a bad person. It don't make him a bad person. Sometimes you literally outgrow your partner. You literally outgrow them. And it may be time to go. I think it's time to go. I'm telling you, when I read that one line, when you said about the nursing home, I was done with it. I was completely done with it. Because don't nobody want to be at no nursing home. Not for real, for real. And if I'm feeling like I would rather go to a nursing home than to sit there playing around with you, somebody gotta go, me or you. Somebody gotta go. But I think you already knew what I was gonna say before we even got to the end of the letter. Probably while you was writing it. And I don't usually throw that out there, leave, leave, leave. You know what I mean? I usually say get some counseling. Ain't no need for no counseling with this. Child, y'all are miserable. What's the point? This don't even look fixable. It's miserable. And it really just looks like y'all outgrew each other, for real. That's what it looks like. Child, it's probably time to move on. It's time to move on. I hate to say it, but common law. We didn't even get married. No goddamn way I'm gonna let you make me be that miserable. I'm gonna be that miserable and I ain't even get no jewelry? No ma'am. Not me. Not me. Sorry. But thank you for writing in. But ain't no way I'll be this miserable without a sparkler, at least. At least a little, I mean, you can look at a couple of carats, will make you feel a little better about some things, but he didn't even walk you down the aisle and give you the big pretty dress or none of that. And then you gonna aggravate me too? No, I don't think so. Not for me. It's not for me. Sorry. And you said you tried everything. You could go try some counseling, but from what I'm reading, I don't think it's gonna help. I think y'all done outgrow. I think y'all done worked it till it's all the way down, baby. All the treads is gone off the tires, what it sounds like. All right, sorry about that, boo. But thank you for writing in. Again, thank you. All right, let's move on to our next letter. This one actually is titled, Was I Wrong for Cutting My BFF Off? Come on, let's go. 6 months ago, I stopped talking to my best friend of 20 years. My friend has had a couple long-distance relationships. They never meet. He would send them money like a fool. Twice my friend drove 2 hours each way to see a guy, and once there, the guy never answered the phone. Catfish, if you ask me. I spoke to him about it and suggested maybe the guy was using him. My friend called me jealous and stopped talking to me for 2 months. Just a little FYI, my boyfriend at the time lived 3 hours away and we saw one another every other week. So I had no reason to be jealous, just was trying to protect my friend. Fast forward several years later, I was happy when he found someone local. They came to my drag show once and I was introduced to him. Naturally, we went out for food after. During conversation, I asked what he did for a living and he looked at my friend. I said to myself, not again. Throughout the relationship, I've had to pick my friend up from work 3 and 4 in the morning, being that the boyfriend had my friend's car and would not answer the phone. Mind you, my friends got off at midnight and I was usually out at a bar with my friends and having trade. You could have kept that little detail. You a mess. Anyway, but I get it. I stopped what I was doing to come to my friend's aid. This guy spends my friend's money on cigarettes, liquor, and drugs, and I'm not just talking weed. He has lied, cheated, fought, and stolen money from my friend over the last 3 years. After a while, I told my friend he was being used again and may need to evaluate this relationship. His usual response was right. He constantly makes excuses for his boyfriend's bad behavior. My friend had a birthday celebration in which we went dinner and to the club after. Eventually, I get a text that said, I'm ready to go. We had driven 2 hours just to get to the club. Well, I danced for another 20 minutes before heading to the car. I get to the car and there's a full-on argument going on between my friend and his boyfriend. I removed my friend to see what's going on. He was crying and said he's tired and done with the bullshit, saying the boyfriend played him and the relationship was over. We get back in the car and my boyfriend was letting my friend have it. The boyfriend, not my boyfriend, the boyfriend was letting my friend have it, saying my friend wasn't shit, he had no money, and that the job my friend had is trash, and even talked shit about my friend's dad. I had enough. Told him maybe he should find another way home. He piped down and eventually went to sleep. The entire 2-hour drive home, my friend was shuffling through breakup songs. The next day I checked on my friend and he said they were together at the family dinner, which was at my friend's father's house. Ciao. I let my friend know I wasn't interested in being in his boyfriend's presence ever again. It wasn't my intention to cut off my friend in the process, but I was over the excuses he made for that boy, and definitely over the entire situation as a whole. I know you can't pick anyone's love, but I damn sure don't have to put up with it either. Whew, okay, that was a book. That was a book, but very interesting, very interesting. Baby, listen, man, you're not a bad friend for cutting your BFF off. Your BFF is a trick, okay? And I'm not trying to be mean, but your friend is a trick. He's a trick. And it does get to be terrible, and it's wearing on the friendship because he's using you up and then indirectly using me to pick up slack where he leaves him hanging. No, I wouldn't be bothered either. I wouldn't be bothered either. Not at all. And there's nothing, ain't nothing you can do about it. No, you cannot live it for your friend, but flat out, ain't nothing you can do. Your friend is a trick, and the boyfriend would not be making a trick out of me too. And so no, I don't think that you're wrong. Not at all. Not at all. And what do I want to hang out with you for, to be miserable? When I can go somewhere and have a good time, I want to hang with you two fools, arguing, fussing, fighting, and ruining my evening? I don't think you're wrong at all. I don't. I don't. Not at all. And because in that, all you're being is an enabler. You are enabling your friend to allow the boyfriend to make a trick out of the both of y'all. So no, I don't think you're wrong. Your friend need to get a grip, and he'll get tired, you know, because again, you can't live it for him. You can't tell him when to be tired. He'll know when he's tired. Ooh, Lordy, thank you for writing in, baby. Got to be more careful. Okay, this is the last letter for today, and there's no title, but it goes like this. It says, "Hello, James. How are you doing? I hope it is all well with you. First, I want to say that I love you. I love you. Your YouTube show gives me life and wisdom." Thank you, babe. "I am 36 years old, a mother of a 6-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter. My boyfriend is 46, and we live together as a family. I am the provider for the family. I work 8 to 5 as a data entry operator for the state of Texas, Monday through Friday, and I clean a building 4 times a week in the evening. I am also a self-published author, and I'm in the process of trying to get my second book out. My boyfriend is a stay-at-home dad due to his heart condition and criminal background for aggravated robbery. He had a heart attack while he was in prison a few years back, so he works on filming and music while at home. Lately, my mood has been not so good. I'm finding myself being frustrated about a lot of things, and my spirit has been down. When I see all the things that my boyfriend gets to do as far as his filming and having all of these amazing projects coming up, I find myself getting somewhat a little jealous, and that's not in my character at all. I just feel like all I do is work and provide to where I don't have any time to do what I love, and that is writing, book signings, and attend events as a vendor for my books. My extra time goes to the kids. I look at all of my co-authors and feel like they are passing me up. Another thing, we really haven't been having much sex lately. Our toddler sleeps in the bed with us, and it is so frustrating. At this point, I just don't feel happy, and I hate feeling like this. As I am writing this email to you, I'm laying in bed with the toddler still in my nightgown watching Martin, and it's almost 12 p.m. noon. I hope and pray that I don't slip into depression because I've seen it happen to other people. Your advice and feedback will mean so much to me, even if it's the hardcore truth. I apologize for this long email being the length of a novel or script. Laugh out loud. Thanks for taking the time out to read my email, and thanks for what you do on YouTube. Some of us need a little James in our lives when it comes to wisdom and laughter. Much love. Doesn't surprise me. You're a writer, so you started writing. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, this is very simple. It's very simple. Now, I understand, and not the jealousy situation, because that's not one of the emotions that I can't ever say that I've ever experienced it. So I don't know, I can't really give you too much about that. I just know it's not a good one. Green is not a good color. That whole envy thing, but I get the whole, you're working two jobs. You're working two jobs. So at the point that you're working this second job, it really does take up time that you could possibly be working on your dreams, goals, and aspirations. Now, if he's doing that well with his filming projects, you should be able to get rid of that second job. Okay? Because see, the agreement would not be that I work myself ragged and work myself to the bone so that your dreams, you can meet all your dreams, and I'm taking care of all of the home stuff. No. We both need to be able to take care of the home stuff, and then we both work toward our dreams. So if his dreams are actually picking up that much, you should be able to get rid of that second job. And at the point that you can get rid of the second job, then you can actually go ahead and work on your writing and other things of that nature. So there needs to be a conversation that needs to be had. Flat out. Flat out. And I don't think that has anything to do with jealousy at all. I think that has to do with being fair. Being fair. But you working two jobs for him to be able to work on all of his little extracurricular stuff. No, that don't sound right. That don't sound right. You shouldn't have to work two jobs. That just don't sound right. It just, And if, again, like I said, if his things are actually really picking up, then that should alleviate some of the stress off of you. Period. Period. Y'all need to have a conversation. Y'all need to sit down and talk. Absolutely. And that second job need to go out the window. I'm just saying, that don't have nothing to do with jealousy. That has to do with being fair. Fair. We're not going to work me to the bone to make you a superstar. We're going to work equally, and then we become superstars together. I'm just saying, that is what advice I have for you, darling. Sit down, have a conversation. Get rid of that second job, child. Get rid of the second job. All right. Thanks for writing in. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Ask James. I will meet you back here same time next week. We'll do this all over again. If you want to send me a letter and have me go through some situation and see what I can come up with to help you out, you can send me an email to spillitboy@gmail.com, or you can actually send it to my P.O. Box, which is James Colwell at P.O. Box 99432. That's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 15233. Either way, go ahead, send it to me so we can take a stab at it and see what we can come up with. All right, you guys, I love you much. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Mwah!